Hi,
Hello.
Kieran.
Hi, Sarah. Nice to meet you.
How are you? Nice to see you.
Not bad, thanks. Um, I think it was 11 total that registered. We just had some last minute registrants about 5 minutes ago. Um, so I think what we'll do is we'll wait maybe one more minute. I'm just gonna check my inbox as well, just to make sure there's no one having issues getting in. And then I'm going to do a little introduction of who we are, because I think some of these people that have registered found us through Eventbrite and they actually haven't taken any of our programs before. So I think some of them might be new to who we are and to who you are as well. So I'll do a little intro and then I'll pass it over to you.
Sounds great.
And where are you? I assume are you in Ontario or are you somewhere else?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay,
GTA.
awesome. All right, so we're just going to wait one more minute, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. I have a little slide that I think you can all see here. We'd love for you to put your name, where you are. So if you're in Ontario or a different province, or even if you're in the US, we'd still love to know where you're from. What is your business name? What product that you're working on? Or if you just have a food service based business as well, let us know what food business you're working on and what you hope to get out of today's session as well. So we'll just have you put that stuff in the chat. I'm just going to check my email to make sure there's no one having issues getting into this class, and then we'll get started. All right. Um, might be a small cohort. So I will also send out the recording for today as well. So if anyone wants to rewatch this or send this to any of their friends that they feel could really value from this information, that is totally fine. I will most likely be posting this on our YouTube channel, so you can watch this back as many times as you would like. You'll get a lot of valuable resources out of today's presentation with Sarah, who's from Futurpreneur. I'll pass it over to her in a bit, but in case some of you are new, and I know some of you are not, I recognize Elaine and um, I believe Mallory maybe as well from some of our past programs. So welcome back. It's so lovely to see alumni coming back to these alumni events, and they are open to everyone literally around the world. So um, if you're not from our programs, welcome. I'm going to give you a little bit of an introduction of who we are in case you're not too familiar. And for those of you that graduated a while ago from our programs, this might be exciting for you to see as well. Some of the things that we've been up to since you graduated. And sorry, my computer is a little bit laggy. Just loading my screen 1 second. Oh, never mind. I don't think I don't think my computer wants to share my screen after all. This has been happening this past week, so um, I will just I'll share the slides separately here in chat. Um, and maybe I'll just give you a little overview of what we're doing. So my name is Kieran. I'm one of the co-founders of Food Venture Program. And for those of you that haven't attended any of our sessions before, I'm just going to put our link in the chat here. Actually, I won't bother sending over the slides. You can just check out our website. We have a list of upcoming events, just like this one, that are free for our alumni and basically anyone, mostly within North America, that has a food product or a food service-based business. Um, we often run free sessions once every 2 months for entrepreneurs to attend. But aside from that, what we are known for is our 12-week programs, and we run these programs through small business centers across North America. So if you're new here and you're looking for like an in-depth boot camp to take, you can get in touch with myself. I'll leave my email here, and you may have it from the Eventbrite emails as well. But I can help connect you with a small business center that may be running one of our programs. And most of the time, the registration for these programs are free because they are funded by Canadian or American government grants. And then once our entrepreneurs graduate from our program, we find that they connect with people and organizations like Futurpreneur. So Sarah will be speaking about what Futurpreneur has to offer you, but they help them further their business plan and secure funding and access mentorship as well. So yes, we do love seeing our entrepreneurs go through a 12-week program, but we also help as well with consulting after that program is done. And we still work with some of our entrepreneurs up to 2 years after the program is done. And then we have a bunch of consultants that we also suggest that they get in touch with. So that's us in a nutshell. We have had some really exciting success stories from our entrepreneurs, and I know Elaine is on here, and she's one of them. She has a gluten-free like line of dry mixes. Hey, Elaine, I don't mean to pick you out here, but I actually have tried some of her mixes, and they're incredible. And I eat gluten-free because I have to, but yeah, so she is one of our success stories. She's out of Ontario. And then we also have had an entrepreneur that went to Dragon's Den a few months ago, and he secured funding with, I forget the dragon's name. They always have some new dragons and they rotate, but he secured funding and now has scaled up his production to become North American wide. His product is now being distributed North American wide. So some really fun success stories. And if you want to connect with any of our entrepreneurs, and you're welcome, again, get in touch with me. So that's enough for me. I'm going to pass it over to Sarah. And Sarah's going to talk to you about resources and funding available through Futurpreneur. I will just mention this one last thing. We have had one of our students I believe, get funding through Futurpreneur before as well. So I'm happy to make the connection with other entrepreneurs that have got funding through Futurpreneur too. So I'll stick around if there's questions, and Sarah, I'm going to watch the chat too if people have questions, and I may just interrupt when something comes up. So you are a host, so you should be able to share your screen.
Very good. Thank you, Karen. Great. Well, thanks for having me today. And nice to meet everyone. I see it is a small group, so please do just jump in if there's something specific that either you have a question about, or if there's something specific to your business that you think maybe I can provide some context, or how Futurpreneur can help on that specific barrier you might be facing. I think we're a small enough group today that, please do just jump in. But yeah, nice to meet everyone. I'm Sarah, and I'm with Futurpreneur. I have some slides I'll open up in a minute, but just as like a quick intro, I've been with the organization for about 7 years, and I'm in the business development side of things. So working across Ontario to help young entrepreneurs who are looking to develop a business plan, access some financing and mentorship, and really get their business to that next stage of startup development. So I will throw our website into the channel, I'm used to using Slack, into the chat, as well as my email address in case I don't have the chance to share that. I can't remember if it's in the deck. And yeah, I'll just kickstart, and please interrupt if you have questions in case I can't see you once sharing my screen here. Right. Slide. There we go. All right, just call out if you can't see this. Otherwise, I'll keep going. All right, so I'm here today to talk to you a little bit about Futurpreneur. We're a national nonprofit organization that seeks to help entrepreneurs who are 18 to 39 as they embark on their entrepreneurial journey. So really, we have different levels of support everywhere, from someone who's more at the ideation stage and trying to figure out how to take that idea and really turn it into something concrete, all the way to someone who's actually already launched their business and it's less than a year of full-time operations, in which case we can set you up with financing and mentorship to help you with your capital requirements. We've been around since, I think it's 1996, so over 25 years now. And in that time across Canada, we've supported over 16,000 diverse young entrepreneurs. And there's some stats here, I won't go through all of them, but we're happy about our almost gender parity in that we've supported 44% of women-led startups. And we also have 17% of our businesses supported that are owned and led by Black founders, and 5% of our supported businesses are led by Indigenous founders. And we actually have very specific programs tailored to these diverse groups of entrepreneurs, which I'll talk a little bit about. And what brings me here today is the partnership that we have with Food Venture Program. So across Ontario and across Canada, we partner with different community organizations that have aligned goals in supporting entrepreneurs. So we work closely with Food Venture Program to support any of the entrepreneurs that perhaps go through Food Venture Program and are then looking for that next step in support in starting their food-based business. So I'll just have to move my video here. So let's talk a little bit about the programs that we offer. All right, so our core startup program, it offers up to $60,000 in the form of an unsecured loan, which is paired with 2 years of hand-matched mentorship. So the reason why this is a benefit to entrepreneurs, particularly young entrepreneurs, has a few different features really. But ultimately, younger entrepreneurs are typically having a harder time securing financing that they need from a traditional bank. So we were created actually out of the banks, realizing that they were turning away a lot of young entrepreneurs with really great ideas who they simply couldn't provide a business loan to because they hadn't started yet or were very early in their stage of operations. So we're able to provide an unsecured loan to entrepreneurs to kind of fill that gap, which is a little bit unique in the sense that typically if you're looking for a lower interest rate loan and you haven't started your business yet, interest rates will typically be very high because it's high risk. So what we do at Futurpreneur is pair the loan with 2 years of mentorship, which hopefully reduces the risk of starting up since that entrepreneur has that champion in their corner for a longer period of time, which means that we can provide fairly good interest rates for an unsecured collateral-free option. And what does unsecured mean? It just means that if for some reason you're unable to repay the loan later down the line, we won't be taking your RSPs or your house or things like that, which typically come along with secured loans. So not only would you be getting the loan as well as the mentorship through this program, it also comes with up to 20 hours of pre-launch support. So essentially what this includes is the ability to work with various members of our team, depending on what your need is, to help you get to the point of launch. So for example, maybe you're getting ready to launch your food-based business and you're thinking it's going to be in about 6 months. That will be, the time that you're looking to do it, but you're really struggling with the business plan, or maybe a component of the cash flow forecasting. It's just not your specialty. We actually provide free advisory services and coaching to help the entrepreneur create strong business plans, strong financial forecasts, and understand, if there are viability concerns with the business, how to test out the model before launching, essentially taking different steps to reduce the risk before launching the business or in those early stages of actually having launched. And then if you are receiving a loan and mentorship through Futurpreneur, there's also various resources and networks to help support your growth. So for example, every year we run a program called Growth Accelerator. It's for entrepreneurs who have previously gone through the Futurpreneur program and received a loan, and now are maybe a couple years into business and they're realizing I have some pretty good, growth goals and opportunities ahead of me in this business. What support can I access to help me achieve some of those goals? We run Growth Accelerator, which is a series of intensive mentorship opportunities with various coaches and mentors through organizations such as Spin Master, which will help guide you through some of those growth opportunities and how to kind of be the most successful you can as you approach that stage of business. So that's our core startup program, providing the loan and mentorship. Now, I won't go through as much detail on the following programs because they are similar, but we do also have a Black Entrepreneurship Startup Program, which offers all of the same features, so the loan and mentorship as well as pre-launch support. And the main differentiator here is that you can actually connect with a team with lived experience, and there's the opportunity for follow-on financing after 2 years of business. This program for Black entrepreneurs is very specific and unique in that it's our only program where we offer the follow-on financing after 2 years. So this program was initiated in 2021, I believe. So we've been running it for a couple of years now, really looking to identify and acknowledge the barriers that Black entrepreneurs can face going through the process of starting their business and tailoring our programming to meet those needs. We also have a program for Indigenous entrepreneurs. So our Indigenous Entrepreneur Startup Program also provides up to $60,000 in an unsecured loan, paired with the mentorship and offering the pre-launch support services as well. Again, our entire team involved in this program has lived experience, so you'd be able to connect with someone within the Indigenous community across our entire team. So from first contact with Futurpreneur all the way through receiving a dispersed loan and a mentor, you'd be connected in with a team with lived experience. The eligibility for all three programs are pretty much the same. So we cater to young entrepreneurs, so 18 to 39 years of age. You must be a Canadian citizen or a permanent resident of Canada. If you are a student and you're in full-time studies, you'll need to be in the final year of studies. And this is because if you're launching a full-time startup, generally speaking, you should be almost done your student career, your academic career, so that you can focus full-time efforts on your full-time startup to be. You need to be past the research and development stage. So this may apply to some of you in the crowd, but essentially if there's product development and testing required, that needs to be completed before you can apply for a loan. So for example, if someone's working on some kind of technical app, they would need to have something that's actually usable and almost ready for commercialization to be able to apply for the loan. If I'm thinking about maybe a food-based business, if there's product testing required, then that would be needed. Any kind of regulations that would need to be met for food and beverage, for food handling, things like that, that would need to be achieved or near complete as well. If you've already been operating the business, then you need to be less than 12 months of full-time operation. This isn't always black and white, so it's kind of one of those gray areas in terms of our eligibility. Essentially, if you, for example, let's say incorporated 2 years ago, and then really you've been doing 18 months of product testing, we would not consider that full-time operation. However, if you've been selling your product and you've been in a store on shelves for 15 months, essentially, you've been putting full-time hours into this business that you're running, that would unfortunately be past the startup phase of 12 months of full-time operations. Always happy to talk about this piece and any other eligibility criteria. I know many people often have questions about that piece because it can be a little bit muddy. And then, of course, you're willing to work with a mentor for 2 years, and you're able to complete a viable business plan by the end of the application process, which again is something we can support you in that journey of completing. We have another program called Side Hustle. I separated it because the eligibility tends to be a little bit different. But really what we're looking to support with this program is entrepreneurs who are not looking to quit their full-time 9-to-5 job, but they have a passion or a hobby or a skill that they're monetizing or they're looking to monetize, and maybe they need a little capital to get that to the next stage. For example, maybe $7,000 for that piece of equipment that will help, or $5,000 to create that really great website, all while realizing that I'm not looking to quit the safety of my full-time job, just looking to kind of run this on the side. So this program offers up to $15,000 in the unsecured loan, up to 15 to 20 hours of pre-launch support like the other programs, also offering the 2 years of hand-matched mentorship as we do with the other programs. And the main thing here is that you're not intending to quit your full-time job in the next 12 months. So again, you must be between the ages of 18 and 39, a Canadian citizen or permanent resident, and demonstrating that sustainable full-time income outside of your side business. And then we'll gather an attestation from you that you don't have the intention of converting your side business into full-time business within the next 12 months. And that's just an attestation. We realize that there are lots of side hustlers out there that say, well, if it's really successful, of course I'm going to do this full-time and quit my job. That's fine. This is more the understanding that someone may be starting thinking like, okay, this could be good. Maybe it won't be good. Let's give it a try. And that's more of that side hustle mentality of this is not your livelihood. You're just monetizing something that you're excited about. And if it ends up being wildly successful, then sure, perhaps you'll end up running it full time. We've supported lots of food and beverage based businesses across the country. I picked 4 at random just to give you an idea. So there's Zing Pantry. So they create their own condiments and seasonings for home cooks. So someone like me who just wants to make my food taste better, their products are available for the everyday consumer to buy. Skip the Dishes, maybe no one's heard of them. Just kidding. Everyone's used Skip the Dishes at some point, I'm sure. So that's another one that we funded early on in their startup journey. And then we've got Paulo's Cake Shop. So I like to highlight that one because he is kind of your everyday brick and mortar style business. So he's got a bakery in Toronto selling very unique to Brazil pastries, and he's a newcomer to Canada. And then finally, just to kind of show you guys as well that we support franchises. So we've funded a few different Freshie locations as well over time. All right, so for anyone who's kind of not quite at the stage of fully operating that business and wondering how can I get the support to get there, Rock My Business is a great next step. It's a 3-part series that we run every other month here at Futurpreneur. We currently run it virtually ever since the pandemic, which has been a really great shift because we actually get about 100 people coming on to the session, and it helps entrepreneurs create a network of like-minded associates that are also working on starting their businesses. But essentially what this program does is it takes the entrepreneur from idea to business plan to cash flow. So the individual can actually self-select where their need is. So maybe you know your idea, you've already tested it, you've tested to see that that's what consumers want, and you are ready to launch this business, and you need a business plan to guide you in that direction. Maybe Rock My Business Idea is not the next step. Maybe it's Rock My Business Plan. So this is a 3-part series to which you can attend any of them. If the entrepreneur attends Rock My Business Plan and Rock My Cash Flow, they can also apply for a RBC award. So at the end of each year, I think it's usually in June, RBC, who's our co-collaborator on this program, offers $10,000 grants to various award winners, essentially. So, best young entrepreneur, best team of entrepreneurs. There's a series of different ones that you can apply for. So if a $10,000 grant also sounds good to you, in addition to potentially receiving a loan from us, you definitely would want to consider Rock My Business Plan and Rock My Cash Flow as an opportunity for a gateway, if you will, to apply for one of those RBC awards. All right, so how it works. So if you are interested in financing, this is a very, very simplified version of the process that one can expect. So you would register on our website. That would bring you forward to begin your application. The application process is gathering information from you like contact information, business description, social insurance number because it's a loan, so we would need to run the credit score. So all of these pieces of information. Finally, the last step would be submitting a business plan and cash flow forecast. From there would be hopeful approval of the loan, and the mentor matching would take place. So with the mentorship piece, we would ask the entrepreneur, what are your gaps? Like, where would mentorship really help you? And maybe you're going to highlight to us, I would love a mentor with a marketing background and also one that understands the food and beverage industry. Maybe one that's open to franchise. Really, depending on what you're doing, you will have different needs that you can tell us about. And based on those needs, we will look within our roster of volunteer mentors and match you up with the one that best suits the needs that you've identified. And that mentor will guide you for a few hours a month over the course of a 2-year period to help you navigate opportunities, obstacles, and just be sort of that champion in your corner. Once the mentor matching has completed and you've met your mentor and you're happy with the match, at that point, then we'd be able to disperse the finance. Just to give you an idea of how to potentially move forward with Futurpreneur, I just listed out a few different stages that someone might be at. So if you feel you're at the idea stage and you're not really sure where to go next, Rock My Business series is certainly the next step of the process. If you attend Rock My Business, you would also get the opportunity to work one-on-one with an entrepreneur in residence at Futurpreneur. We call them EIRs for short. And they can give you that 15 to 20 hours of support one-on-one, typically virtually, to help you hash that idea out and work through the business plan. If you're past the idea stage and you're thinking, I just need more help with my business plan or my cash flow, you can still attend Rock My Business. Maybe you skip Rock My Business idea, and you'd work directly with an entrepreneur in residence or a business development manager like myself, who can also help you fill in the gaps of your business plan. And then finally, whether or not you have a business plan, it's almost complete, maybe it's in draft form, but you know you need financing and that's your next step to launching or continuing that first year of business, then you want to start the application and work with someone like myself, a business development manager, to help complete the application and get going through the next stages of the financing and mentorship application process. Okay, I'm going to end there because usually there's a bunch of questions about terms and conditions and the loan and the process. So I'll stop sharing my screen at this point and just open it up to you to see, are you looking for financing? Are you looking for help with a business plan? Was there something in there that felt like, hey, that's me, I need that? And if so, please unmute yourself and happy to have a quick chat about it.
So I have one thing so I'm Parag, I'm from Kitchener. I work in kitchens here right now, so I have few recipes I want to develop and maybe it comes to the shelf also in future. So mostly I'm looking forward for hot sauces or emulsified sauces that are currently used in house kitchens also. And they are once we buy like from Kraft or Hellmann's, they're pretty much highly processed ones. So I'm not sure how to develop the recipe like for the shells, but yeah, I want like some help like to develop that with anyone with biologist or nutrition sciences. So I'm not sure where to go for.
Okay. Awesome, thank you. And this is a really great question because it ties Food Venture Program and Futurpreneur together, because I think a lot of those things are potentially the journey that you would experience with Food Venture Program, because it's very specific to food and beverage industry. For Futurpreneur, and then I'll pass it over to Kieran, we're definitely more of a generalist, so we could probably give you tips on, we for sure could give you tips and advice on understanding your target market. How do you know what your best customer would look like? Maybe a little bit about like rules and regulations related to the industry specifically. To go to develop recipes, I'm not sure we would get necessarily that specific. I don't know if Kieran, you get that specific with programming that you offer?
Yeah, so we do offer a 12-week program that includes an entire like almost 3-hour class on food science and recipe development. And then we also have a class within our 12-week program that covers marketing and branding and how to find the gaps in the market and make sure that your product actually fills a desire and a need in the market as well. So I think you'd be perfect for one of our programs, but you could just reach out to me. I'll put my email in the chat here, and we'll see if there's a program coming up that you can attend.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks for the question. Any other questions or curiosities from the other three groups? Maybe more joined.
Sarah, I'm also just putting your email in the chat here again in case other people have questions as I don't know, as they come up later on. Are there any resources that you could direct people to as well, or is basically everything on the website?
Yeah, everything is on the website, but I can, Kieran, send you like direct links. So a direct link to the Rock My Business site, business plan writer, cash flow tool, some supports that we have online just to make it easier. And then if you want to share it with the registration list, that's great. And then, yeah, if anyone wants to follow up directly, happy to set up a one-on-one phone call, and then I can answer any questions.
That's great. Awesome. All right. Well, there's nothing else. I'm going to stop the recording.